In today's video, what would my advice be if I was Stephanie Buttermore's coach?
All by myself.
Hey guys, what's going on? This is Paul Ravella from ProPhysique.com. Happy Monday. Hope you guys had a wonderful weekend. And today's video is going to be a little bit different because I've been getting this question a lot lately in my Instagram DMs, and I didn't really know how to address it. In fact, I've kind of either just ignored the question or I've kind of responded like, you know, Stephanie obviously knows what she's doing, so I've left it at that. But you know what? I thought I would make a video on how I would address what Stephanie's going through. And for those that aren't familiar with Stephanie Buttermore, she's doing a video series called All In, where she's trying to resolve a few things. I think primarily she's trying to resolve some hormonal issues. Secondarily, her extreme hunger issues. And she's doing it all in a very intelligent manner where she's taking an approach and documenting it, both the physiology and I think the psychology, the emotions of it, even talking about how she's had to like change her wardrobe, all the things that go with gaining some weight. But I never was really going to be comfortable making that video, honestly, because I consider Stephanie a friend, and you know, that would just seemed weird to me. But you know, I thought I was getting these questions so frequently, I reached out to her and I said, hey, would you be okay with me making this type of a video? And lo and behold, yes, she's an awesome person, and so she was fine with it. So I want to address exactly the question that I got today on my Instagram, because I want to make sure we kind of keep it in this vein. So the question basically was, what would my advice be on the best way to get back into shape without losing that metabolic progress and ending up in the same boat? And this is a really good question for me myself, because what I deal with typically is competitors, and competitors go through a similar process that Stephanie has undergone, where she diets down to what most people would consider extreme conditioning. She was very lean, especially when I saw her earlier this year. I thought I was convinced she was actually going to compete because she had gotten so lean. Lo and behold, she didn't compete, but man, she was chiseled, right? And she was doing these eating challenges, and you know, obviously within a few days she was back to her, you know, chiseled weight. So you know, as a coach, that's very relatable to what I go through with my clients. So I want to talk about what I would do when dealing with let's say Stephanie. Let's pretend Stephanie's my client, which she is not, never has been. We are just friends who discuss these things. I think we kind of work in the same realm. Obviously, her boyfriend Jeff is one of the foremost content providers when it comes to exercise and nutrition and the research that's out there. You know, Jeff's somebody that I very much look up to. So what I want to talk about is how I would coach Stephanie. And the first thing that I would do is have a conversation with her about her expectations, because that's the most important part, okay? As a coach, understanding the psychology of the person and what they're expecting really is what's going to set us up, because post-diet periods, so for Stephanie, after she had been dieting for a long time, her hunger was so high that it became very, very difficult to kind of control that. And the same situation happens with a lot of my clients who compete, and then we pull away the goal of the stage and hunger takes over, and even sometimes shame when it comes to eating. So my first thing I would want to find from Stephanie is, okay, what are your goals and what are your expectations? And with her goal of getting her hormones back in check and her hunger back in check, she didn't really limit her weight gain. And so that's probably the thing that would be the most difficult buy-in from, say, one of my clients or somebody that I'm working with, is like, do you want to resolve these issues as quickly as possible? Because it seems like the quickest way to resolve them is probably to get your body fat up pretty high rather quickly, get your calories up pretty high pretty quickly, allow that body fat and those calories to maintain for a while. Then the body seems to kind of get us back into this normal place where hunger signals go back to normal, body composition comes back to normal. We'll talk about what normal means, and you can go on from there, okay? The body and the brain really fight to get you back into that homeostasis. What's homeostasis? What's normal? It's different for everybody, you know. There are so many different body types, and if you just look around at the people around you, the people you grew up with, people in your family, you can look at them and know what their normal body type is like. When we fight that, if we try to stay a lot leaner than that, the body and the brain is going to fight us. If we end up getting really heavy set, the body and the brain is going to fight us, okay? Our bodies have a thermostat, and it wants to stay in that temperature. When the temperature gets too low, body fat gets too low, the air conditioner kicks on, and our body and our brain tries to get us to put some body fat back on through hunger, there's many mechanisms. So how would I coach Stephanie? Well, I think I would have done the same thing she did. I think her approach for her was the best way. She wanted to resolve these things as quickly as possible. She also was not afraid to put on some body fat. And I think a lot of us have a real negative connotation with body fat. And granted, even with Stephanie gaining a lot of weight, she's still what you would consider a very fit person. We're not dealing with someone that was obese, that had to deal with putting on weight to be more obese, right? We're dealing with someone who was an extremely radically conditioned person, probably competition lean, and now she's put on some weight, probably maybe a little bit over what her natural set point is. But I have an inkling, the longer she maintains here, because I see this with my clients all the time, when you maintain your calories a little higher for a longer period of time, what happens is the body kicks back into kind of maintenance mode, and the weight comes down, the scale comes down, body composition improves, even though there hasn't been a shift in calories. You haven't tried to do that. There's like this memory, and it's the thing I tell my clients is we need to be out of prep or out of dieting for as long as we're in dieting. So how would I coach Stephanie Buttermore? Well, it's quite simply, I would do exactly what she's doing, because she takes a very intelligent approach and she's considered all the options and weighed all them out. So the most important thing when it comes to going all in or taking a more conservative approach to reverse dieting and putting on body fat is, what are your goals amongst there, okay? Are you okay with putting on, say, 15, 20, 30 pounds of body weight in a short amount of time and maintaining that for a while, and then allowing it to come back down and settle and feel good again? I think ultimately what Stephanie's hoping to do is get back into a position where she feels good all the time. Hormonally, hunger isn't so crazy, and she's able to kind of feel good, whatever that weight might be for her. Obviously, it's not going to be as lean as she was before, but I think we can all agree that getting lean and getting shredded, it's not all it's cracked up to be. It looks great in some pictures. It doesn't feel great. Okay, for anyone that's ever dieted down, unless you're a genetic outlier that tends to maintain a very, very lean body composition, anyone that's dieted down that lean, you know that energy is an issue, hunger is an issue, mood is an issue for me. There are many issues. I get a little bit neurotic, I get a little bit more anal about how things are, things have to be cleaner. I just notice all these changes. I get less sleep. All these things start to impact you when you're really, really lean. But why do we do it? Well, because we have this goal, whether it be a photo shoot, whether it be to look good for our reunion, whether it be good, shredding for the wedding, or if you want one of those silly trophies back there and you just want to look good on stage. Whatever the reason, no matter what, when we get that lean, our bodies are going to fight back. And typically they're going to overshoot a little bit, and then they're going to settle back in. So hopefully this answers your question. It all comes down to what's right for the individual, and I would not second guess what Stephanie is doing. She simply put so much thought and effort into this, and I'm hoping that she'll grant me the opportunity to do a video with her once she's kind of gone through this and learned some lessons. She was nice enough, I jumped on the call with her today because I didn't want to do this video without her approval, or at least without her knowing about it, and I asked her for 30 seconds and she talked to me for almost 25 minutes. So that tells you anything about Stephanie. We had a great talk, but so she's going to have some great content coming out about this. Hopefully that answers your questions that you guys are having, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.